Hola clase, Mr. Ross here. Just starting a video here in order to help you guys answer the essential questions for units 6 and 7, which is what our district assessment that's coming up is going to be on. So let's go ahead and get started with unit 6, la comida. So it's all about food. Let's go ahead and start with the first one. ¿Prefieres el helado o el flan? So this question can be phrased to compare any two foods that you might prefer. So, ¿prefieres el helado o el flan? In this case, it's talking about ice cream or flan. So, ¿prefieres is in the form where you're talking to somebody. So when you respond, you want to speak in the form where you're talking about yourself. So you'll respond with, Yo prefiero el helado. You could have said el flan, but Yo prefiero el helado. You have to make a choice. So that's the one I chose. ¿Qué te gusta comer en el almuerzo? What do you like to eat for lunch? So te gusta is in the form where you're talking to somebody. You want to change it to the form where you're talking about yourself. So in your response, me gusta comer ensalada. The underlined word could have been anything, but I chose ensalada. So me gusta comer ensalada. I like to eat salad. Moving on. ¿Qué prefieres comer para la cena? What do you prefer to eat for dinner? So, prefieres is in the form where you're talking to somebody, so you want to change it to the form where you're talking about yourself. Prefiero comer pollo frito. The underlined word could have been anything. I chose pollo frito, fried chicken. Muy bien. Let's move on. ¿Qué vas a pedir en el restaurante? What are you going to order at the restaurant? Voy a pedir el pollo. So, vas means to go, or going to. Ir means to go. Vas is the to form. So what are you going to order in the restaurant? The yo form of ir is voy. So that's the form if you're talking to somebody. You want the form where you're talking about yourself. Voy a pedir el pollo. Again, the underlined word could have been any word, but I chose el pollo. ¿Qué sirven en tu restaurante favorito? What do they serve at your favorite restaurant? So, got a couple of cognates here. Cognates mean that the word looks similar to English. Restaurante, favorito. So you should be able to pretty much understand what it means just by looking at it. So what do they serve at your favorite restaurant? Sirven papas fritas. So what do they serve at your favorite restaurant? They serve French fries. So we're not changing the conjugation here because you're still talking about the same thing. Sirven papas fritas. ¿Qué comes en el desayuno? What do you eat for breakfast? So comes is the form if you're talking to somebody. You want to respond with the form where you're talking about yourself. ¿Qué comes en el desayuno? Yo como cereal con leche. I eat cereal with milk. If you just said yo como cereal, that's acceptable too. And cereal looks like the English word. It's a cognate. So the only thing you gotta work with there is the pronunciation, because you don't say yo como cereal, you say yo como cereal. Right. ¿Qué hay de cena? What is for dinner? Hay pescado y arroz. So it could have been anything. So there's fish and rice. Next. ¿Dónde almuerzas? So you gotta know your question words. So ¿dónde means where. ¿Dónde almuerzas? Where do you eat lunch? Almuerzo en la cafetería. I eat lunch in the cafeteria. See, almuerzas is in the form up here where you're talking to somebody. here where you're talking about yourself. Almuerzo en la cafetería. Another cognate, looks like the English word. Cafeteria. La cafetería. Just a slight change in the pronunciation. ¿Con quién comes el almuerzo? Another question word, quién. Who or whom. With whom do you eat lunch? So that's in the form where you're talking to somebody. You want it to be in the form where you're talking about yourself. Como el almuerzo con mis amigos. I eat lunch with my friends. It could have been with a family member or anyone else, but I put mis amigos. A common answer, I think. ¿Qué tal está la comida? So, pretty much, how's the food? La comida está riquísima. The food is delicious. You can also say delicioso. Delicioso is a cognate because it's similar to delicious in English. Just a slight change in pronunciation. So, la comida está rica. You don't have to change the conjugation on está because you're still talking about the food. La comida. ¿Necesitas ayuda? I ask this every day in class, and every day in class someone says, I don't know what that means. So, what does necesitas ayuda mean? Do you need help? No gracias would be a possible answer. Or, sí, por favor, yes please, and then you'd have to add on what you need, of course, what kind of help you need. Muy bien. ¿A qué hora desayunas tú? At what time do you eat breakfast? So, you don't respond with son las, because when you say son las, you're saying what time it is right now. But you're not being asked what time it is right now. You're being asked, at what time do you eat breakfast? So, a response would be, yo desayuno a las 6 de la mañana. So, I eat breakfast at 6 in the morning. The time could have been different, but that's the time I chose. A las 6 de la mañana. So desayunas up here is in the form where you're talking to somebody, and this desayuno is in the form where you're talking about yourself. Yo desayuno a las 6 de la mañana. Alright. So that was Unit 6. Now we'll go into Unit 7, La Salud, health. So in this unit we learned about body parts and different things about health, exercising, etc. So let's go ahead and get started with Unit 7. ¿Dónde se entrenan tú y tus amigos? And remember, in this unit we had reflexive verbs, so some of these will be reflexive. So, ¿Dónde se entrenan tú y tus amigos? Where do you and your friends work out? So, entrenarse was the original form of this. So, in your response, you're going to have to talk about you and your friends. Nos entrenamos en el gimnasio. We work out in the gym. So this is reflexive. The reflexive pronoun nos and then entrenamos. Nos entrenamos. So entrenan is in the ustedes form because they're talking to you and your friends. And then you respond with us, we. Nos entrenamos, and then the place. En el gimnasio. ¿Te gusta hacer ejercicios? So this is either yes or no, pretty much. Do you like to do exercise? So, te gusta is in the form where you're talking to somebody. You want to respond in the form where you're talking about yourself. So, no me gusta. Or, sí, me gusta. Either one would work. ¿Qué tienes que hacer para prepararte para salir? What do you have to do to get ready to leave? This is very open-ended, so a possible answer could be tengo que ponerme los zapatos. So tienes here is in the form where you're talking to somebody. Remember, the yo form, talking about yourself, is tengo. So tengo que ponerme los zapatos. I have to put on my shoes. It could have been anything else. It could have been tengo que lavarme la cara, wash my face. But that's what I chose. Tengo que ponerme los zapatos. ¿Cómo te mantienes en forma? How do you stay in shape? Shapes are forms. So it's a cognate if you think about it that way. En forma, in shape. ¿Cómo te mantienes en forma? So how do you maintain yourself in shape? Very open-ended. Yo como muchas frutas y verduras. So, I eat lots of fruits and vegetables. You could have talked about I diet. You could have said I exercise. But this seems like a very simple way to answer this question using simple vocabulary. Yo como muchas frutas y verduras. ¿Qué te duele hoy? What hurts today? Or what hurts you? What body part hurts? Me duele la cabeza. My head hurts. So, te duele changes to me duele because you're talking about yourself. It could have been any body part, but I chose la cabeza. And if you're really talking to someone in Spanish, you're going to not just pick any word you want. Say the actual word, the actual body part that hurts. ¿Estás enfermo? Or if they're speaking to you and you're a female, ¿estás enferma? Sí, tengo catarro. So, a possible answer, yes, I have a cold. Or yes, anything else that you might have. No estoy enfermo. So, in this case, estás changes to estoy in the yo form. ¿Qué haces para relajarte? What do you do to relax? So, it starts out the same way. Relax, relajarte. ¿Qué haces para relajarte? Para relajarme, yo escucho música. So, to relax, I listen to music. Relajarte changes to relajarme. ¿A qué hora te despiertas para ir al colegio? At what time do you wake up to go to school? So we had a previous question where you were asked what time you did something. So remember, don't say son las, because that's saying what time it is now. We don't want what time it is now. We want at what time you wake up to go to school. So, ¿a qué hora te despiertas para ir al colegio? Yo me despierto a las 5 de la mañana. So, despiertas changes to despierto. Yo me despierto a las 5 de la mañana. The time could have been different, but we went ahead and stayed with 5 de la mañana. ¿A qué hora se acuestan tus padres por la noche? At what time do your parents go to bed at night? Remember, acostarse means to go to bed. So, ¿a qué hora? You're not going to use son, you're going to use a. So, ellos se acuestan a las 10 de la noche. So, they go to bed at 10 o'clock at night. Muy bien. Fin. We're done going over the essential questions. Hopefully this is helpful. Doing it just once will probably not help you as much as you hope. So my recommendation is to go through this video again on your own. It's in Portal and you have access to it wherever you are as long as you have a device. And remember that we have the assessment coming up, and do your best. And we're also going to practice our writing because the assessment is on speaking and writing. And it's 60% of your final exam grade. So do your best, go through this video again, and let me know if you have any further questions or would like any further help.